Jody Arrington, he is the chairman of the House Budget Committee. Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for being here this morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So is there an effort to try to get illegal migrants to work in our military?
Look, this is just another way to obfuscate the real issue, which is we have total chaos and lawlessness at our border. And Democrats don't want to do the very basic function of a government, and that's provide for the common defense and secure our sovereign border. And, it's pretty telling when Chuck Schumer calls hard right immigration measures just enforcing the law and stopping catch and release. And so we're not going to get to a security supplemental package until we deal with the most significant and urgent security threat to the American people, and that is our southern border.
So are you saying that Republicans will draw a red line? You will not vote for any money to Ukraine until you see policy changes at the border? Is that what you're saying?
That's why the American people, Maria, gave Republicans the majority in the House, to use the power of subpoena and the power of the purse to change the course that our country's on, namely reduce spending so we don't bankrupt America's future, and to secure the border and deal with this security threat. So, yes, I mean, we have broader policy problems with Ukraine in terms of accountability measures, a game plan, clear strategies. We also have problems with paying for things in this country. So we have to do what Mike Johnson, our new speaker, is doing, which is changing the culture to one that considers fiscal accountability to the taxpayer. But yes, ultimately, the number one job is to keep the American people safe, and they're not safe. And it's not because of the Russian invasion into Ukraine. It's because of the invasion of the United States enabled by terrorist drug cartels in this administration. And my Democrat colleagues don't seem to have any interest in dealing with that.
No, they don't. You just saw what Schumer said. They don't want to deal with this at all. They want the money sent to Ukraine. They say we're running out of time. We're running out of money. So is it fair to say that this supplemental package is dominating the agenda going into year end? And how long are you willing to go to the mat for this? They're not responding.
Well, they will respond just like they did with the debt ceiling debate. If your viewers remember, we held the line in the House and the Senate, and it took both chambers and Republicans in both chambers to hold fast to our principle that we were going to reduce spending year over year, and that we were going to start to walk and then run and restore fiscal accountability in our nation's capital. That has to happen in this case as it relates to border security. And I believe our Senate colleagues, led by Senator Langford in the negotiations, are going to hold true to what we committed to our fellow Americans with respect to no funding, using the power of the purse to make sure that first and foremost we deal with our southern border crisis.
Yeah, I mean, you're also dealing with the NDAA, Annual Pentagon Policy Bill, and I'm wondering where that goes, because in the Fiscal Responsibility Act, it increased defense spending by 3.2%, left non-defense spending flat. I mean, that would be a decline in defense spending when you compare it to inflation. Is that what you're proposing in an environment where China is getting more aggressive against the United States, along with Iran?
Well, let's be clear. There's a lot of waste and woke and unnecessary spending at the Pentagon, probably more waste in that bureaucracy than any. And I think our chairman, Mike Rogers, and his colleagues on both sides of the aisle, in fairness, have found ways to shift monies internally, about $40 billion, to legacy programs and otherwise wasteful spending, to things that matter to our security interests to date. So I think there's a lot more money than just what you see in the top line that's being shifted from wasteful and unnecessary spending to things that have to do with real readiness for the United States.
Well, it's incredible to me how each side sees it so differently, and all of this is happening in the face of what appears to be corruption in plain sight. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer released Hunter Biden's 2018 bank records this week. It shows his Chinese-linked business, Owasco PC, made direct monthly payments to his father, Joe Biden, all as he was accepting money from China. Payments of nearly $1,400 happened 3 times, bringing the total to more than $4,000. Congressman, your thoughts on this, and is this going to lead to a formal impeachment inquiry against President Biden?
Well, I'm not going to presume on the outcome except to say there's a lot of smoke and we're starting to see fire in terms of more than conflict of interest, but criminal behavior and certainly abuses of power. And I believe we're going to let the facts lead us to the outcome. But I think most of the American people are seeing something that would result in an impeachable offense, but we're not going to presume on that. We'll let Jamie Comer and Jim Jordan do their job. What we need the impeachment inquiry tool to get at all the facts, and we need to subpoena every single person that has anything to do with this potential corruption, because we've got to present the case to the American people. It doesn't matter as much what we do in the House, because I think we will get what we need, the right outcome in the House. It's what we get in the Senate, and we have to bring the American people along so they don't think we're politicizing it like the last administration and like the Democrats did to President Trump.
And you've got to do this all the while working with Democrats on the other side of the aisle to get funding done before January 19th. Is a shutdown less likely at this point, or is that still on the table, January 19th?
Well, I hope we don't shut the government down. I think it's disruptive. I think it costs taxpayer monies, and we shouldn't do it if we don't have to. But I will tell you, there are some things that are worth keeping the shutdown on the table, including border security. So we've got to get our work done, and then we've got to take the fight to the Democrats, and we got to bring the American people along, and they have to put pressure on Democrats in the Senate to reduce funding and secure the border. Those are the 2 main objectives.
All right. Mr. Chairman, we'll be watching your work for sure. Congressman Jody Arrington, thanks for being here,
Maria.
sir. All right, we will see you soon. We'll be right back.